I've been very concerned lately about China and sort of they are now all over Africa, buying things and investing over there and getting those countries dependent on them and supporting, non-democratic people. And I'm just
like whom?
Well,
we are in a country that supports Saudi Arabia.
Yes, that's true. Right.
So suddenly we have a problem with, superpowers supporting non-democratic people. And let me explain why you shouldn't worry about it.
You are watching Joseph TV show, the place to be.
When white people came to Africa, they came showing themselves as superior to the black people, digging out things that black people taught them. What we don't have in our history books is that the civilization we have in Europe today was brought to us by black people. Even black people don't know that. Even many black people don't know that. They don't know that the Moors, they were West Africans and North Africans and Central Africans that came to Europe and ruled Spain. They brought civilization to us. They showed us how to use soap, how to be clean, how to behave like a decent human being, All these things we didn't know that before the Moors brought civilization to Spain. Did you know that the Moors ruled in Spain for 700 years? Where is that in our history books? It's nowhere to be found. Because why? If you are giving black people that power of having once ruled over white people, wouldn't black people start kind of questioning, oh, we were once at that point of having such a power in a white man's country over white people, and where are we now? So of course they have to hide that history from you people, because knowing your true history is knowing your true power, and knowing your true power means you will break out from that system of racism.
I've been very concerned lately about China and sort of they are now all over Africa, buying things and investing over there and getting those countries dependent on them and supporting, non-democratic people. And I'm just
like whom?
Well,
we are in a country that supports Saudi Arabia.
Yes, that's true. Right. So
suddenly we have a problem with, superpowers supporting non-democratic people. And let me explain why you shouldn't worry about it. But please continue.
Well, they're in Africa. They're lending money to countries to build ports and different infrastructure.
To build what?
Port.
And harbors. What's wrong with that?
And because
countries that need ports get ports.
But they're making people dependent on. I know it's the same thing that we've done, which is horrible around the world.
They are far more humanistic than the United States ever was.
Really? Okay.
Absolutely.
Great. So
let me give you an example. Of course, they are peddling for influence.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they are non-interventionist. Absolutely non-interventionist in a way that Europeans, the West, has never managed to fathom.
But I have a feeling they have a longer-term thought process that is more interventionist.
But anyway, let's judge what we see. Let's judge what. Okay. Let's start at the beginning. The Chinese never asked Apple to go to Shenzhen and produce all the iPhones. It was Steve Jobs that decided that. Yeah? Mm-hmm. It was not China that went to Washington, D.C. and demanded that they buy a third of your national debt. If they hadn't bought it, you would be in serious trouble. Mm-hmm. Okay. Number three, I did allude to this in my talk. If in 2008 China had not cranked up their credit bubble, you would be in a new Great Depression now. Mm-hmm. So, China, the United States, and the European Union are absolutely synergistic, and they need one another in a way that if we fail to acknowledge and to nurture, billions of people, including the majority of the people in this country, are going to suffer. When it comes to the influence of China outside its borders, I have to say, firstly, it's quite remarkable that they don't seem to have any military ambitions. Secondly, Africa. I'll give you an example, a specific example. Ethiopia. 2004, because I happened to be there and I have some first-hand experience of it. They went into Ethiopia. I'll tell you why they went into Ethiopia, because they suspected there was oil. Mm-hmm. Because China is a major industrial power, but it lacks primary resources. Now, instead of going into Africa with troops, colonially, destroying the country, killing people like the West has done for the last 100 years, what they did was they went to Addis Ababa and they said to the government, we would like, we can see you have problems with your infrastructure. We would like to build some new airports, upgrade your railway system, create a telephone system, and rebuild your roads. And we'll do this all for free. No strings attached. We don't want anything from you. And they did. Why did they do it? Because this is soft power. Because because they knew that if oil is discovered, and it was discovered later, then, of course, the Ethiopian government will be much more open to Chinese oil companies coming there. They have never combined their investment with imperialistic.
I know for a fact that most Africans don't actually know African history. Most of Africans don't actually know that they were colonized. Most Africans don't actually know that about the slave trade. They don't actually know. This is because Africa is a very young continent. Something like 75% of people in Africa are under the age of 30. And we have been let down because of the lack of knowledge of our history. Most of African countries were colonized, and they were colonized with the use of very grotesque violence. King Leopold II of Belgium killed 10 million Africans in 7 years. And the ones he didn't kill, he chopped off the baby's hands and feet. The Germans in Namibia, they got people to decapitate their families, and so that they could take the skulls back to study. The British in Africa, why are we not learning our history? And the reason Africans are not taught our history because it's too painful. It's too painful, and people don't actually want you to know the horrors that have been dished out on Africans, because the only thing that they want to show us is that Europeans come to Africa to give us aid. Europeans do not care about Africans. They sold Africans into slavery. And when slavery was supposedly over, they colonized Africans and they turned them into slaves in their own homes. Now, and this history is so recent. It's so recent. We celebrated, Kenya only celebrated its independence about just over 50 years ago. It's so recent. Your parents will tell you this history. We need to insist that Africans are taught our own history to control our narrative. The missionaries did not bring religion to Africa. We were already religious. The reason Africans are religious is because we were already religious. For example, my tribe, the Gikuyu people, we already worshipped Gai, our God, who is omnipresent, who is invisible to the naked eye. And the only thing that made us go into the churches was because our God Gai says that we mustn't worship in man-made temples. And therefore we worshipped under sacred trees, and they cut down those trees in order to prove to us that our gods did not exist. We need to know who we are. It's the only way we can move forward, by understanding where we come from.